Hi there, you're listening to the newly rebranded Commissioning Conversations. The following was recorded last week ahead of Richard Watsham's virtual Edinburgh TV session. Hi there, I'm Alice Redman, a Senior Media Researcher for the Commissioner Index. Today I'm speaking to Richard Watsham, Director of Commissioning at UKTV. Richard oversees UKTV's commissioning for channels Dave, W, Yesterday, Gold, Drama and Alibi. Hi Richard, so let's get straight in. How are you and the UKTV team dealing with the current situation?
Terrible. It's not great. Obviously, I feel particularly for the indies and the freelancers, and I know it's a really challenging time for a lot of people. We have paused most of our things that were actually in production, where we were actually filming or about to film. We've paused, but it is just that, it is a pause. We haven't cancelled anything, and it's our intention to stand up as many of those shows as possible. Hopefully, all of those shows. At the same time, we've also just wanted to get on with developing shows and to be practical about what we can do to get ready for later in the year. So we've really focused down on developing some stuff, developing things that we've already got in the pipeline, and just taking the opportunity actually on a couple of shows that have been paused just to kind of double back on the format and make sure that we're absolutely 100% happy with where we're going with it. So there's some use in that regard. We've cracked on particularly with scripted development, so drama scripts and scripted comedies. I think we had I don't want to give an exact number, but there's a lot of scripts that we're sitting waiting to be read and to be caught up on. So we've been using that time as well as just being able to focus a little bit more on some scripted developments that we already had in paid development, and just to kind of already spend a bit of time looking at the scripts that we had in and shaping them and thinking about where we take them, how we mould them and take them on to kind of improve them and get them to the level at which we need to commission them. So we've been doing that. We've also been looking further ahead. So I put out a call some time ago for comedy entertainment shows because we had a pot of money already set aside for those, for Dave. And then with Taskmaster moving to Channel 4, we had an even bigger pot to spend on comedy entertainment shows. And we're light on ideas really in that space. So again, this is a good opportunity, and it continues to be a good opportunity for Ian Coyle, our head of comedy entertainment, and Mark Idden, who works with him, and the team more generally, just to kind of double back on ideas we've got have been kind of mentioned or discussed, or we've got treatments we haven't been able to kind of step through properly, and just really kind of knuckle down and get a bit of important development work done there, because I think there's a real opportunity in that genre.
And how are you finding kind of working through the obstacles that being on lockdown is facing as a team?
As a team, I think UKTV spirits are good. I think there are challenges, obviously, around ad revenue that affects the commercial broadcasters, particularly. We are lucky enough that our revenue comes from both advertising and from our platform subscription revenue from the likes of Sky, Virgin, BT. So we're lucky in that regard. And I think broadly we've been trying to take a positive outlook at UKTV and think, let's use this time usefully. And I think that's really important. I don't underestimate the challenge to everyone's mental health of working from home and working at a distance. Particularly if you're living alone, you're not seeing people. So we've just worked hard as a team to bear in mind those people who are living alone and to make sure that we're frequently in contact with them. We've worked hard to have actually more team gatherings now, virtual gatherings, than we were having in the office. So, just to try to make up for some of that kind of chat that happens at the desk. But it actually means I've seen more of some members of the team over the last few weeks than I had done over the months preceding that. So we've just been working really hard. As I say, I think UKTV is a lucky place because we have been on the up for some years. We work really hard to build and to strengthen our commissioning strategy in the team, and that has been rewarded with an increase in money every year. And those kind of things are really important for commissioners, basically. So I think the outlook and the positivity and the fact that there is opportunity is really important to keeping people focused and engaged and happy. Fingers crossed, so far it seems to be going okay.
And in terms of people submitting new pitches to you, what are you looking for with these at the moment?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll start talking, and then when all you have to do is yawn over Zoom, because people who are in, I can see Alice. So you can just yawn or just make the throat cutting gesture of shut the hell up. It's pretty much the same as we were looking at before, to be honest with you. So comedy entertainment is absolutely key for Dave. We are also looking for other premium factual entertainment content to sit alongside shows like Expedition that we have on Dave, which is repeating currently on the channel at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night. We've got a show called Big Zoos, Big Eats coming up on Dave, and a couple of other what I would call eating formats. And I think it's quite important to differentiate between cookeries. It's not a cookery show, but it is an eating format in the kind of vein of Man v Food, which was such a successful show for the channel a few years back. We've got to shoot a few shows like that. Big Zoos, Big Eats starts quite soon, and a couple of others that are in development and production. And that kind of, it's not big budget premium factual entertainment like Expedition. It is a bit cheaper, but it's got real energy to it. It's got a brilliant bit of talent in the shape of Big Zoo, who's fronting that, and it's got a kind of younger, arguably more kind of modern tone that I think broadly we want to push Dave into. So there is room for more shows, not just around eating, but in that kind of slightly cheaper kind of Fact 10 format space. That's unscripted on Dave. Broadly, scripted comedies, our search continues on Dave, absolutely. Had a huge success just before the Easter weekend with our Red Dwarf feature-length special, which I think 7-day consolidation got it to 1.6 million, which is really good news for the channel, and I feel really pleased that the feature length format of that has helped us to bring a big audience to that, make it an event, and to kind of re-engage with what we know is a really big audience. So I think there's more opportunity in scripted comedy for 90 minutes, so 2-hour slot, 90-minute duration. We continue to look for half-hour comedies as well. So both of those searches are ongoing. I still think there is room for Dave to do its first drama. We've had success with Flack on W, and particularly with Traces on Alibi, which absolutely smashed it out of the park. Our first crime drama on Alibi. And I think there's a real opportunity for a warm-hearted, probably action comedy, kind of comedy drama to play on Dave. So I think that's a bit of a longer burn for us. We've not really put out that call particularly, but I think there's an interesting opportunity there. Gold, scripted comedy continues. Cockfield's really successful. Murder on the Blackpool Express trilogy been really successful. Sandyland's doing well. So more of those kind of pieces. We still, we struggle with archive pieces. We're always on the lookout for them, but there's not enough. The classics aren't being made fast enough, I think, annoyingly. And so it's hard to generate more archive shows, but we're always on the lookout for opportunities there. We've got Ricky and Ralph's Great Northern Road Trip coming up with Ralph Little and Ricky Tomlinson. Would like to find a little bit more kind of Fact 10 for gold. On W, it's a combination of lower cost, higher volume, but high quality pieces. We've got Inside the Ambulance doing great numbers for us, 999 Rescue Squad. We've got a number of new shows coming through in that space. We'd like to find some Fact 10 formats that we could co-develop, probably with BBC Studios, who could take that to an international market and would co-fund those with us. More talent pieces like Stacey Dooley Sleeps Over, Emma Willis Delivering Babies, both really high rating pieces for that channel. So more of those kind of celeb fronted pieces. And then again, more for yesterday, more of the kind of runs of 10, high quality but fairly low cost doc series, engineering, railways, architecture. I hesitate to use the word Nazis always rates well on yesterday. If we haven't rinsed that subject enough already. So there's still opportunities there. Bangers and Cash doing really, really strong numbers for yesterday. Had some amazing figures recently, well over 400k for a TX on yesterday. So there's opportunities across the board in all honesty. And then the last but not least is more crime drama for Alibi. So we've got We Hunt Together, which is a really stunning piece of drama launching in May on Alibi, and to follow up on Trace's success. So we're still looking for more pieces in that space too. Sorry, that was longer than
that was brilliant. That was a good run through.
And I remember just how many channels we've got and how many different things we do and how many different things we're looking for.
That was very, very useful for everyone. And so I take it, is there any consideration of coronavirus adapted productions or coronavirus content for you guys at the moment?
Really good question, and an important one, because I don't want to set hairs running or get people going down a road that is wasting anyone's time. Now, we are absolutely focusing on later in the year. We're lucky enough to build our originations on a platform of content from, particularly from the BBC, obviously. And so we don't have the same requirement to fill this week's, next week's schedules. And so we can really focus our commissioning kind of thought and spend on those bigger pieces that just are real kind of marketing pieces for the channel that just get people to think about the channels in a different way and to activate new audiences. So we've deliberately avoided looking for quick turnaround shows. I think unless you can put them out live, my concern is by the time they're made, which is challenging in itself, and we want to make sure that we put people first and we don't put people in a difficult and dangerous position. So it's challenging on people, challenging to make, and then by the time you've actually delivered it and it's about to go out, there's a real danger, a hope that we're coming out of this and then actually that show then feels a little bit passé. We're looking at adapting a couple of existing key franchises so that we can keep shooting at this time, but really we are not looking for coronavirus specific content. I think people are getting their fill of coronavirus through the news. Genuinely, I'm not sure any of us need reminding about this hellish situation any more than that. And so we're going to make sure that we've got a real slew of great escapist, warm-hearted, comedy entertainment and fact 10 to play out off the back of this, and just to kind of, to take everyone to a different space away from this particular situation.
And you mentioned looking for archive documentaries for gold. Obviously, that's a way around produce an archive documentary. Do you think that might expand into other channels or other areas, other subject matters, if this, touch wood, doesn't happen, but if it does continue?
Not really. I think necessity is the mother of invention, and I think there are so many unbelievably talented creatives in the UK working in TV, and I think that the constraints of this particular situation activate a different type of thinking, basically, and they make us think about different things, and ultimately out of that come brilliant ideas. So I think if it continues, we will find other ways of working, and we'll find other kinds of shows that we can make. I think that there's a balance there. We've always wanted to support Gold's core classic British archive, but it's not really about overloading our portfolio with archive content. We've made our name on innovating in comedy entertainment. I think we're starting to really make our mark in drama and scripted comedy. We've got some really high quality factual content, and I think that's really, those are our strengths. I think the danger is, for us at least, not needing to fill the schedules with content. The danger is that archive content just sails a little bit lower under the radar. Whereas really what I'm looking for, generally, commissions need to do two things for us. They need to reinforce, state the tone of voice of the channel that they are made for, and they need to make people think in a different way about our network. Those are the two things they need to do. And I think the point at which people go, oh my God, I'd never expected you guys would have made that kind of show, or wow, the cast that you've got for that show is unbelievable. I didn't think that was, you guys could do that, or, looking at a new comedy entertainment show where we're, I think, leading the industry really and taking that genre into different spaces, and just hearing the reaction from audiences. That's really what we're looking for out of originations, and that kind of activation of audiences and that awareness and that kind of marketing capability really. And as I say, I think archive shows just don't generally do that for us. I think the one place they work really is on Gold.
Do you think your general commissioning strategy will be slightly altered? You'll be looking for different things or focusing on different areas once production can resume?
That's a very good question. I think the way in which people make programs is likely to be impacted for quite a while. I think broadly we were pleased with the direction that we were going in terms of our strategy, and so broadly we are going to continue on that same path. There might be little tweaks and redirections and slight changes here and there, but broadly I think that's the way in which we want to keep heading. I do think that where you are making more expensive shows, for us particularly around the crime dramas, the thought of lockdown coming and going over the next year, 2 years, however long that might end up being, that is really problematic. I don't have the answer yet on that. I think that there will be a scrabble for shows to get up and running. I think UKTV we've always traded on our ability to be agile and to move quickly, and I think that's now that's going to be more important now than ever. But I think that really is just playing on some existing themes really, rather than heading off in a new direction strategically.
And for people that are listening and think that they have a good pitch for you, how do they pitch to UKTV?
So I've got 3 genre leaders. I've got Hilary Rosen, who is the head of Faction Entertainment. I've got Pete Thornton, who's the head of Scripted. So he looks after the drama and the scripted comedy, with Philippa Colley-Cousins reporting into him, working on our crime dramas. And I've got Ian Coyle on comedy entertainment. And all 3 of those people are lovely, lovely people. Genuinely, they are super approachable. People can email them first and foremost if they don't know anyone already. And each of those 3 people have other people working with them. So, where appropriate, they will get other members of the team involved. But they are a good place to start with each of those 3 areas, really. They will make sure that they or one of their team reads the idea, engages with it, and gives them feedback, in a timely manner. We're very much open for business. We've really kind of doubled down on some of our development conversations over the last few weeks. And now is definitely a good opportunity for people to bring us their best ideas.
Thanks for listening to Broadcast Commissioning Conversations. Don't forget to subscribe via any of the major platforms. We'll be back soon with more, but in the meantime, the latest commissioning briefs can be found on broadcastintel.com.